I'd like to welcome everybody here to this, I'll say momentous occasion. So we're going to have an on-schedule departure, so that's a good start for the event. My name's Alan Page. I'm the general manager of the Brampton Flight Center, and I'd like to welcome everybody here for this. And I'm very proud to announce the signing of a memorandum of understanding with Sunwing Airlines for a cadet program that's going to allow the direct recruitment of some of our BFC IATPL graduates for direct entry positions to the right seat of a Sunwing 737. I think that this is in recognition of the graduates of the BFC IATPL program we're producing airline-ready pilots, and it's a testament to the quality of our students and the caliber of our students and the quality of our training programs. So I'm very proud to be part of this event and part of the cadet program with Sunwing Airlines. I just want to introduce some of our guests here today. So from Sunwing Airline, we've got Michael Simmons. He's the Director of Line Operations. Rodney Chubbs, he's the Director of Flight Operations. I'm not sure what the difference between flight operations and line operations are, but I'm sure that they can explain it to us. We've got First Officer Ashley Sipos there. She is the Assistant Training Manager. Captain Francis Yanuzzi, he's a training captain. He's also with AeroCourse, which is one of our partners in the IATPL program. And he's also a BFC alumni and actually winner of the Webster Trophy when he was here. So quite a while ago, yes, but again, shows the caliber of the students that we are producing here. We've also got First Officer Damon Crane, who's also a BFC alumni and is probably part of the reason why we're here today is because of the quality of his training and the quality of his assessment by Sunwing when he was recruited by them. We've also got First Officer Jesselyn Teed. She's I think she was a cadet from Waterloo Wellington flight program to Sunwing, and she's with the Office of Collegiate Engagement Liaison. And Alex Rosario, he's Manager of Talent Acquisition. In addition, we've got Gregory Dreveninkas, who's with CAE, who provide all of our simulator training for the IATPL portion of the program. And last but not least, some of our own staff here. We've got Scott Chaco at the back there, hiding in the corner. He's our chief flight instructor. And the two people who are most responsible for making sure that the training goes well, Kathy Stewart, she's not going to raise her hand, yeah, and Sydney DeHoop. So with that, I'd like to turn it over to Michael Simmons, who's going to give a presentation about Sunwing and the program. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mike Simmons, and it's a real pleasure for us to be here today to commemorate this fantastic kickoff partnership with Brampton Flight Center. I'd like to clear up a couple of things. You raised a couple of issues. I'm going to introduce our team a little bit and tell the folks in the room what they do. So I'm the Director of Line Operations, so I kind of take care of things on the labor side of the house. And I have the distinct pleasure of working with Jesselyn T, who works in our Office of Collegiate Engagement. And Jesselyn has been working very hard on this partnership with Brampton to bring this to fruition. And we're delighted that we were able to pull this off. It's an exciting time at Sunwing, but this work is very important to us. So Jesselyn reports to me. She also has flight duties. Rodney Chubbs is our Director of Flight Operations. He is essentially our chief pilot, and so he takes care of the regulatory side of the house, how we fly the airplane, how we train on the airplane, standards, and reporting to Transport Canada. Francis Yanuzzi is here today, and he's coming home. And we're so delighted that Francis came to us many, many months ago and said, you guys might want to think about BFC for your next partnership. They're producing a fantastic output, great pilots. Francis engaged with Rodney to make sure that your program was robust and had the elements that we're looking for in a candidate to be flying one of our 737s. So the partnership to me has developed. Francis was good enough to introduce us to Damon. I'm sure you all know Damon. We're very proud of him. You should be proud of him. He was kind of like the test bed. And we're very pleased with the product. And I think he's going to be flying a 737 at Sunwing for many years to come, doing a great job. And you folks should all be very proud that this gentleman learned his trade, his craft, right here at your center. Alex Rosario is involved in our recruitment. He's our manager of talent and acquisition. He has, over the last few years, been working very closely with us as we recruit and bring in ideal candidates that fit in with our culture at Sunwing. So I thank you, Alex, for being here today. Ashley Sipos is our assistant manager of training. She is responsible for making sure that once you get selected by Sunwing, you get through our training program and get onto the line. So that's a little bit about our group. Did I cover everybody? Okay, great. With regards to this program, as I said, we're excited to be partnering with you folks. This partnership should be a meaningful thing for you folks. Sunwing Airlines is a fantastic airline. Third largest carrier in the country. Now we have recently, as I'm sure you're aware, merged with WestJet. There's a lot of excitement in our group about that merger. A lot of uncertainty as well. I have to be straight up and fair and honest with you on that one. We don't know how we're going to come out the other end. Our pilots are a little bit nervous, but for now, everything seems to be going just fine. Everybody's been promised a position at the other end, and the outlook from my perspective is very, very positive. At Sunwing, we currently operate 40 737s. We have 511 pilots working for us, approximately 250, 260 odd captains. We have bases in Vancouver, Calgary, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Toronto, Montreal, and Quebec. That's our kind of our winter operation. We are a sun destination carrier. Our tour group is the largest tour packager in North America. They do it from soup to nuts. We get on the phone with the potential client. Sunwing bills the package, delivers the client to Montego Bay. We have a company called Nexus that picks up our customer at the airport, takes them to one of our hotels. And Nexus will also build an excursion if you want. You can go bungee jumping or whatever you like down south. So it's a very, very unique, they call it a vertically integrated model. It's an exciting company. And that's why WestJet was very interested in our company, because they want to grow the leisure sector. One of the things that is very attractive to almost all of our pilots is this little bit of business that we do in the summertime, which is our off season, our off peak, but it happens to be peak season over in Europe. So we have partnerships with a couple of European carriers, and in the summertime, we send airplanes, aircraft, and pilots over to Europe. It's called summer deployment. This summer, we will be deploying between 300 and 350 pilots to Europe. The company will, at some bases, be responsible for housing. At other bases, we'll just give you a bag of money. And you go and find your housing and your car and whatnot. But we pay you to fly in the European theater, and that's really cool. So this summer, we're looking at Prague, and we're looking at Amsterdam for bases. And it's a very, very exciting bit of business. Francis, you've done it a few years. Jocelyn, you've done it. I've been over there a couple of years. It's a lot of fun. So we see that happening this year. We're not sure if it's going to happen next year. Last year was supposed to be the last year of deployments, but we're back at it again this summer. So that's one of the things that makes us a little bit of a unique carrier in Canada. Not everybody does that. The flying that we do is we go north-south in the wintertime. With our merger with WestJet, we'll probably be starting to do a little bit of east-west as well. So there'll be a lot of variety. We're trying, as I was saying to Damon, we're trying to figure out how our cadet program is going to grow in the future. I've sat down with the VP of operations at WestJet. They're very keen to understand our cadet program. They are very much aware of the partnerships that we currently have and that we are expanding our partnership to introduce Brampton. And they're excited about that. So right now, when we bring a cadet on board, that cadet is going to end up on the right seat of a Sunwing 737. In the future, that cadet might end up on the right seat of a WestJet Encore Q4 or a WestJet 737. I'm not sure. Maybe a WestJet 787. I don't know, right? But all I can tell you is that you folks are in the right place. We have a solid cadet program. We are going to remain engaged with you, and we're hoping that 1, 2, 3, or 4 of you will end up in the right seat of one of our planes in the very near future, just like your colleague Damon. So I didn't go off the slides. I'm going to hand, because I don't really like slides. I'm going to hand it over to Jesslyn, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about the partnerships that we currently have and how our cadet program actually runs. So over to you. Thank you, Jeff.
See if this works. Yeah, there we go. So Mike went through all this. This is our current map. As Mike said, this is going to change as WestJet comes and partners with us in our destinations. So a little bit about the cadet program. We've had the cadet program since 2016, so it's a well-versed program at this point. And in that time, it's gone from 2 schools to now us having 4 schools. With those 4 schools, you are 4th. We're adding you on, and we're very excited for that. So it's exciting to see all the student faces here. Having been through it, it's a great opportunity. It's a challenging one, but this program has shown its success through its candidates, like Damon. So we started off with 2, as I said, that was Waterloo and Seneca, and then we added a school in the west, Mount Royal University, and now adding Brampton Flight Center, which Francis was instrumental to. Like Mike said, this conversation has been happening for a while. When Francis reached out, shared information, shared videos, we got to see how robust your program really was. We also have not just the school route, which is how the program started, but we have an internal recommend load time route. So we bring our own people on, for example, flight attendants, and then we have an external recommend load time as well. So this is how Damon initially came in, and now this will be moving into the school route. So over time, we've had to put this into our FOM and have this program approved, and that's been through going through the training department, building this program, continuously risk assessing this program. And the mission statement of our program that we've come to at this point is the Sunwing Airlines Cadet Program is dedicated to offering opportunities to pilots to achieve an airline pilot career. So we're trying to fast track that process for you as there's a pilot shortage, which we're all very aware of. You're in this industry in a good time. And we're trying to get you from that flight school, graduation, integrated ATPL, right into that right seat of an airline, if that's the route that you choose to go. A bit of our success story with this program, Seneca College, we've taken 29, University of Waterloo 30, Mount Royal 6, and over time, we've had 77 successful candidates. We haven't had anyone leave the program throughout training. They've all gotten to the line flying and been very successful. We've also had the internal recommend load times. Those were 2 candidates. We've had 2 flight attendants go through our program. And the external recommend load time, 10 candidates, one being from Brampton Flight Center. We're very happy about our male-female ratio. As we know, females are a minority in this industry, so the 22 to 55, we're really proud of that. And we've had a lot of great candidates come to us that both Alex and I have been able to go through, interview, get to know, and then have them succeed in our training program. Retention is an important thing for us to talk about, to show you that people aren't just coming, getting their ticket and leaving. They're really loving where they come to. So they're really enjoying the Sunwing culture, the Sunwing opportunities. As Mike said, there's some really unique opportunities, including those deployments. So we've had, out of the 77, 4 are ready for that upgrade, which means they've hit that about 5-year mark. So originally when this program started, John Hudson here on the the left, he's at Boy now. His goal with this was that, okay, they come at 5-year mark, we want them to be ready for an upgrade. With COVID in there, we had a bit of a pause on that, but if you take their flying years at Sunwing and their flight time, they're at that 5-year goal of being ready and aligned for an upgrade. We've had only 12 resignations, and that has been career progression for the most part. We try to keep in touch with our candidates and our pilots and see where they go, what the reasoning might be, the feedback, so that we can continue to improve it for those who choose to stay with us. So in my role, I get to come and do engagement sessions with the schools, and this is what I go through. I tell you what's the process like, what are you getting yourself into when you sign up. I go into it a little bit more in depth than I will today, but this just gives you a snapshot of when you apply to Sunwing through our cadet program, what are you getting yourself into? So in the spring, that's usually when we do our intakes. We are now doing a spring and a fall as of last year. Just in terms of spreading out our resources and spreading out the hiring. That's been something that's been helpful for us. So we come, we do an engagement session, we chat with all of you, and after that, we set a deadline for your applications. I would work with someone like Kathy and Sydney, and I'd say, okay, by this date, you're gonna submit your applications. This is what it has to include to those two. From there, the Sunwing liaison, so myself and your team of faculty, sit down, we discuss the applications, and we go through what candidates we're going to move forward with. In the summertime, that's when your interview usually falls. So after we've had that discussion between your faculty, so your instructors, your CFI, your whole leadership team, we offer those interview spots. And that interview, I call it a 2-day event. So we come in, or you come to us, and we do an interview with Alex, that will be at the office, and myself and another pilot. And then the second day is your sim eval. So we hand you a little homework package and we say, this is what you have to study, and we'll meet you at the sim the next day. After that, we review the individuals. That's when Mike gets to see all the notes, the training department, our myself, and we go through who we're going to bring forward. We then give you a permanent offer of employment, and then you go into our training. So we put you into a new hire ground school. It's not just a cadet ground school, it's with all our regular hires to integrate you within the Sunwing culture and with, as you are becoming a first officer, a regular new hire, right? We don't want to segregate it. Although we do have a no jet time program. So that's the stream that you fall into in terms of what sims you see, what IPTs you see, and there's a little bit more supervision involved in that. You go through your simulator training, so a fixed base, and then you go into the full motion, that CAE, and you'll see familiar faces like Francis in those areas, and then throughout your line indoctrination as well. Between your line and dock and your sim, so finishing your PPC, you're gonna get a little taste of what it's like to fly the line. So we're gonna send you on 3 flights where you sit in the jump seat and you just get to watch. You just get to take in a normal day's work. Then we put you back in the sim to give you a little refresher, do some landings, do some takeoffs, get comfortable, and then we put you in the right seat with a safety pilot now in the jump seat. We also have a mentorship program at Sunwing, so we try to pair you with your mentor or someone who's been through that cadet program on either one of those observation flights or one of those safety pilot flights. Makes it very relevant to you to be able to speak with them about their experience. Similar to what Damon's going to share with us today, that shared experience is really important. Once you get through that, You do your first 30 sectors, and then you're going to see a line check. And then after that, you continue to be under supervision with a training captain for 60 sectors. So again, that's when you get to fly with someone like Francis, and you just get to absorb all their information from their years of experience in it. Once you complete that, you're released to the line operations. And Damon will speak a little bit about that because he has recently been released. So he knows what it's like now to bid his own schedule and get called on reserve at 3 a.m. So a little bit behind the scenes on how we got here today doing this event is we went through with your faculty a pre-screening of your school. So we had to go through, okay, what curriculum are you going through? What do your ground schools look like? What does your multi-crew component look like? That's become really important to us as we see the benefit not only of it in the sim eval, but then in the candidates as they're going through their sim training. We go through this screening of the school, and then we offer an understanding contract between the two of us that we sign, so we both know our responsibilities in making sure that all of you succeed here, but also in the Sunwing program. So your school falls under the IHPL. You're coming out with your integrated HPL, your group 1 instrument rating, your minimum of 250 time, and then your frozen SAMRON SARON. So when we go through the requirements of what you need to apply to us come the summertime or the springtime, those are the requirements you're going to see on that list. A couple additional items I want to highlight. This has been a working program throughout the last 6-7 years. It's always changing. It's always being reevaluated for your sake and ours in terms of safety and success. So some of the things that we do, the annual review and risk assessment, that's done with our safety department. And that's where we look at, okay, how have the cadets done? What does their training look like? How are they doing on the line? And what can we implement to make it safer and to make it easier for all of you? The transition's a big one. Going from your Seminole to a 37, it's a lot to take on. So we want to make sure we're doing everything we can on our end. We also have the mentorship program. This is something I'm very excited about. The mentor-mentee, pilot-to-pilot relationship between someone who's been through this process and walks alongside you all the way from first day of ground school, you get set up with that, all the way to the end of your first recurrent PPC. So that ends up being a good chunk of that first year that you're with us at Sunwing. And again, it's that relationship to go to that person with any questions, whether it be studying, how to bid, navigating the airport, whatever it might be. You don't have to feel intimidated or anything. They've been through it. They know what you're going through. And then finally, this was introduced last year. We have some financial aid for prospective candidates. We call this our Sunwing Airlines Uplift Award. And what we're doing here is we're offering $2,000 scholarships, I guess you could say, or awards to the graduating class to put towards their flight training to help you guys get into that right seat, to help you with your flight training in terms of cost, and to show you too that we want to be engaged in not only the process at the airline, but the process ahead of time, so in your training. That's all I have to share. We're gonna invite Damon up to share a little bit about his experience, especially as a BFC alumni.
Can I just jump in just before that last slide where you talk about the annual review, that's an important piece.
Yeah.
It's not just important from our safety perspective, but Jesselyn's very involved in this process in that we kind of have a look at all 3 of our schools forward now, and we evaluate how they're doing and the deficiencies that we're seeing at the different schools. It's a very important piece, but we just don't keep that information to ourselves. Jesselyn circles back to the various schools and we engage and we make sure that school A knows, okay, you need to pull up your socks here. We need that CRM piece to be a little bit better. Or school C needs to do this a little bit better. It's a very important piece. So you folks will know how you're doing with the other schools.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah. The biggest thing that I emphasize when I meet with your faculty is it's not a transaction. It's not, okay, we get the student, we're out, we're going to take them and do their train. This is a partnership, which means we're going to be very involved in every piece of it. So thanks, Mike. All right, Damon.
Hello, everybody. I know I see some familiar faces in here already. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Damon. I did go to the Brampton Flight Center here within the IATPL program. I started in 2021, graduated in 2023, and through a lot of fortunate people and relationships that I've got to develop over those years, a lot of people came together and brought me the opportunity of my dreams. And since 2023, in July of 2023, I've been with Sunwing now. So just a little bit over 7 months. And as they've mentioned recently, I'm recently finishing up my last training flights, and I am now over to what you call the regular line flying. So Jocelyn kind of covered a lot of what I'm going to talk about a little bit more in depth of my experience, sort of like the outline from day one, basically up until the end of training where I'm at now. So to start out with the interview process, like here at Brampton Flight Center, we had people like Porter come in and give us sort of an outline of what you can expect. Definitely very similar. One thing I can say about Sunwing is I know, as I'm sure you will be for your first interview once you go into the building over at head office, beautiful Sunwing logo right up above the receptionist desk. So, a little bit intimidating, heart was pumping a little bit. But, as you walk up the stairs, you're greeted by, 3 amazing people, training captain, first officer, and as well as someone from human resources, just to sort of give you a variety of questions. As soon as you step in that room, extremely welcoming. Like you feel right at home with these people, and the interview, honestly, it was about an hour long. It felt like about 20 minutes, and it was a conversation back and forth. So something that really calms the nerves and everything like that. At the end of the day, as I'm sure you're probably aware, they are aware of your qualifications. They know that you can fly an airplane. A lot of what they're looking for there is your personality. They want to see what kind of a person that you are, because at the end of the day, we do flights that are 2.5, 3, sometimes 4 or 5 hours long. And, they want to make sure that you're a good fit. They want to see who you're going to be as a person, but even more importantly, who you are as a professional. So not too much to cover there, but just some insight as to what you can expect with something like that. As Jesselyn mentioned, you'll hop into ground school, and as a cadet, you'll be subject to the same type of ground school that a regular first officer would have at the company. Fantastic. The training captain there who did the ground school was amazing, always opened up the floor to questions. They were aware that we had 5 cadets within, I think, 12 people total, or 13 people total, 5 of us being cadets. So they definitely opened the floor to us a lot to ask any questions that we might have, especially not having any jet experience. It can be a bit of a challenging transition for sure. But ground school was amazing. Soon after that, you'll be thrown into the simulator training, which is involved with IPTs and full flight simulator sessions. Kind of as Jesselyn mentioned, the IPT is more of a fixed base, getting you to learn the procedures of the aircraft, really what you do from as soon as you walk in there, getting you comfortable up into the taxi takeoff phase, and then you start moving into things more like approach, landing, how you get set up for everything like that, and you start getting into sort of emergency procedures, whether it's memory items or learning how to run through a checklist. So definitely lots of things to learn there, and what I can say is that I know a lot of you are starting your multi-crew now. I know you haven't hopped into the IPTs yet, but once you do, you'll see it's going to be brand new to what you're used to, like Mike said, in a Seminole or something like that. But what I can tell you is transitioning to that within Sunwing has been amazing with the background of Brampton. As soon as we hopped into that IPT, a lot of you may know who my sim partner was, Tom McCusker, who is in the program with me as well. Him and I spent a lot of time going over the FCOM, as I'm sure a lot of you have now that are in the year just about to graduate. So once you get that background at Brampton here in the IPT, especially when you get those 4 sessions in the full flight sim session, they really build that structure and that training program towards what it actually looks like to do a type rating over at Sunwing. So going through everything like that at Brampton, transitioning over to Sunwing, phenomenal. As I told Jesselyn and I told Mike, when I did that type training, about 75% of what I saw I've been familiar with, I've seen before, I've dealt with multiple times at Brampton, being in those IPTs and those full flight sim sessions. So what you're going to see and what you're going to prepare for is amazing. You're going to have a fantastic experience with that. After that simulator training, you're going to sort of focus up to what's called a PPC, almost like a flight test. There's regulations on what they put on there, what you're supposed to see and how you're supposed to deal with it. A big part of what you're going to do, and this is all the way throughout simulator training, you want to utilize as many resources as you can. Your sim partner is going to be basically the main person that you want to sort of coordinate with. You're going to be put together with someone with relatively this similar experience as you, coming in no jet time as a cadet. And the more resources you use, the better. Everyone here at Sunwing has been incredibly helpful to answer questions, incredibly helpful, and offering you to reach out when you have questions. For example, when I was staying at the hotel during training, my sim partner, who was also a cadet, we got together with 2 other cadets within our ground school, and we take turns going to each other's rooms, practicing on the poster. When we were looking from a perspective from the back, when 2 people are working in front of their poster, we can point out things that they might have missed, and then they can do that vice versa for us. So having that outside perspective is something that's going to truly help a lot, and you're going to want to utilize, like I said, as many resources as possible. After that PPC, as Jocelyn mentioned, you'll start to hop into the no jet time kind of line indoctrination. And that's just sort of double what a normal first officer would have. So that's 60 sectors and 100 hours of time over that training period. But also, as Jocelyn mentioned, before you even hop into that, you're going to get 3 observation flights. So you will sit in the jump seat. Sometimes they will be trainers, sometimes not, but you'll have a captain and a first officer, and you'll just be able to observe. You'll be able to observe 1 sector down south, 1 sector back, and you'll be able. A lot of the captains and first officers will turn back, ask, "Hey, do you have any questions? What would you like to see?" Just open the floor to you. And that's one thing I can say about this company is that all across the board, everyone is committed to you and committed to your success. So you'll get that background. They'll throw you back into the sim just to make sure you're comfortable. Get you to do just a couple maneuvers, takeoffs, landings, just to make sure that you feel solid and comfortable about yourself, and then you'll start to hop into that line indoctrination. Sunwing has been amazing with getting me prepared. You'll have a nice training booklet to sort of get yourself comfortable with the flight operations manual, because even when you get your PPC, that means you know your procedures, you know how to handle emergency situations and everything like that. But it can be a different side. There's a lot of things that we haven't experienced before, like working with ground personnel, working with gate agents, working with flight attendants, making sure we're there for passenger comfortability, and a whole lot more. And that's part of what will help you get into the transition there for regular line flying, is going through this booklet, answering questions that come up. And every flight you'll get asked a couple questions, just sort of about the company's procedures. They're not expecting you to know everything, of course. So when you don't know something, usually just be honest, and the captain will, pull out exactly where the reference is, explain the background of it, so you have that foundation and that knowledge that you can carry forward with you. Very consistent training over on the line when you start flying. It's a really comfortable environment. Every single one of those training captains I've flown with, and even regular captains on the line, have been extremely welcoming to any types of questions. They're there for you. They want you to succeed, and that's just been such a consistent factor of what I've dealt with the company. And honestly, I couldn't be happier to land at a place as amazing as Sunwing. So you definitely have a lot to look forward to. Everything that you learn here at Brampton, whether it's within your MCC or not, is going to come in extremely handy with your transition. From day one, I see you all have your uniforms on. It's getting you ready for that transition, and that's where it starts. So keep up with the dedication. Keep up with that eagerness to learn, because that's when you transition into the airline environment, and if you're lucky enough to come aboard with us, it's going to make something that's going to really help with your transition into your careers. So I'm going to stick around. If you'd like to ask any questions to me now, please feel free. If you'd rather hold till after, I'll come around, introduce myself to the unfamiliar faces, and you can feel free to take down my email if you have questions that come up during your training. Please feel free to reach out. I'm super proud to be here today, to hopefully see a lot of familiar faces here come aboard with us sometime here in the future. I'm extremely grateful for Francis, Jesslyn, Mike, and Rodney. This took a lot of moving parts in order to make this happen. So I know that they were in close communication, tried their best, and here we are today. So I'm extremely proud to have this opportunity for everyone here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Damon. All right, so that's the end of our presentation. So I want to thank BFC, the faculty and staff, the students, the team at Sunwing. We have a banner that we're going to be signing, and then that's going to be hung at your dispatch to kind of commemorate this partnership. And then we also have some cake and beverages at the back that we can all enjoy in celebrating this exciting partnership. So I'll pass it over to Alan to wrap it up.
I really don't have much more to add other than, so, the Sunwing folks are here for all of our college students. If you have any questions, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to answer any questions you got. But as you can see, I think this just shows that our program is producing the kind of pilots that Sunwing is looking for. And I think the training that we are doing in partnership with CAE and AeroCourse is producing the kind of candidates that Sunwing are looking for. And to be honest, not just Sunwing, all the major airlines in Canada. So thank you very much, everybody, and have a good day. Thanks.